Hey guys, we thought we would give you a real-time update. We've been working a lot, so we haven't filmed as much as we would like.
Yep, we just finished a big project, and now it's time to prep the truck for adventures.
Yes.
So we're heading down to Mexico soon.
Yes, and we've done some work that we have not shown you yet. Patrons probably know a bit more. I think we've showed them a few things, but we thought we'd give you a quick and rough update of
quick truck tour and new gear tour. New
Yes.
gear is Starlink. So
Yeah,
we've caved and we've gotten
exciting.
Starlink. It's completely worth it. The fact that we can do a YouTube live on the beach in Mexico or anywhere where we're about to be is pretty awesome. And I'm going to hand the camera to Kelsey and show you guys a couple things we've been working on.
Yeah, and you have to excuse the state of the truck right now because we're mid lots of projects actually, so there's a lot of extra stuff inside the truck that will not normally be there. But
yes.
Anyways.
So thank you to Cerakote. They sent us something for the scratches. We haven't done that yet. As you'll see, it's still very scratchy. We did do the headlights. That was an easy one to do while we're out and about still working. We did put a fuse into the alternator location, and that just bumps up the voltage. So it's better for the lithium. So now we're getting like 14.5 volts out of the alternator. So that's great for here, great for the little power pack we've been using. And then what's coming in a couple of days is a big old 120 amp hour house battery that we're gonna have in the truck. So we'll go into that more later. But big project we've been messing with is this front bumper. And as you can see, originally, we had these two plates that our buddy, who's a master fabricator, had cut out for us on his CNC plasma. Then we welded in the other one on one of the trips back to Tucson, and then we just finished this cap right here. So now we have the horns fully boxed in and built, and this thing is super stout. We also added some side supports right here, just so the sidebars, if we come down on a rock, aren't hanging on anything. Kelsey had this made. We have this front bumper, sort of license plate location that on the 200 series, there's no cover or like anything that I could find that sort of goes here. Maybe there was originally, but I love that she was able to get this made, and it's kind of subtle, but yeah, nice to see the logo on the truck.
Yes, it was a blank empty space, and now it has something at least.
Yeah, so that takes care of that. We've been going through a lot of air filters, and I've been on a saga to find a better solution to sort of clean the air before it gets into the air box. No real solution yet unless we go to what we've done on Goose and Dusty, which is a snorkel with a Donaldson top spin pre-cleaner, which is the sort of highest efficiency pre-cleaner, but I don't want to put a snorkel on this truck really. So I don't know, let us know in the comments what you think below.
Yeah, they do make something, but it's so far as we can tell not in the US.
It's only diesels as far as we can tell.
Yeah.
Donaldson makes an entire replacement air box that we watched a guy in Australia put in, was it 2 entire bottles of talcum powder, and the air filter was still running more efficiently than the OEM one, and it just absorbed all of that. So it's made for doing what we do, but it's only for the diesels. So we'll see if we can get one and modify it. So that kind of does it up here. The wheels and tires, as expected, are holding up great. The Plastidip we used on them, and we should have known better. We've done Plastidip on the road-going vehicles, but even on like the FJ40, we've used a lot of Plastidip just to cover up chrome, and it lasts a year or two. With the mapping work we were doing, and you're constantly hitting bushes, it just ripped them up. So Kelsey's been trying to get most of the rest of that off, and we're just gonna go with some normal paint, I think. The pinstriping, I don't know how well in this light it comes out. On the other side, you might see it better, but
it's very pinstriped right now.
Yeah, so I have to say though, the 200 series doesn't limit us on any trails so far. No. We're doing mostly UTV created trails. So we are like, because each UTV takes a slightly different path, it's wider than a UTV is, but because it's made by them, we are literally on the edges on these shelf roads and things like that. I would say the cut bumpers are a huge plus though, because we have to be very careful often with that. Yeah, because we're going through a lot of V washes, right? So the water is washed out, what was a trail or a road. And so you're constantly coming in and you just slam the front and rear bumpers approach and departure angle. So you're kind of coming in at an angle trying to get through it. But even doing that, you wouldn't have made it with the old bumpers. Yeah. So we're building sliders. That's the next project when we get back to Brent's. We're actually going to integrate our sliders sort of into the factory steps. I kind of like how the factory steps look on a 200. So we're going to tuck up underneath it and have it hang down enough to protect them, a bit of a tubing for sliders.
Yeah, I'm excited about that one. It'll look, I think, really nice.
Right now, that's the state of the front seat. We got all the cleaning materials, the Cerakote to hopefully get rid of some of this pinstriping or protect it once we've gotten rid of the pinstriping with some rubbing compound.
That's very, very exciting.
Very exciting. And then flat link for the Starlink. So this is awesome. So a flat mount, I don't know what I call it, flat link. That's a Factor 55 flat link. That's a different thing. So super excited to have this. It comes with magnets. So we're actually gonna mount this on our roof. So we'll have our race radio, ham radio antenna, and then this right next to it. So you'll have all of your comms up on the roof, a couple of wires coming into the truck. I think at some point we'll do a 12-volt conversion as well, but for now I'm just really happy to have it nice and flat, because that's the one thing about the Starlink. In a truck like ours without a big rooftop sort of rack setup, we need everything to be as small as it can be, and that's going to make our whole setup so much smaller.
And we did add a radio. You mentioned that.
Oh yeah, I don't know if I had mentioned it. So down under the seat, we just have it remotely mounted, and then we have the mic sort of up on the side here. We have 100, let's see, it's an 80-watt ICOM 2-meter radio. I didn't do a dual band. I didn't do one that runs APRS. If you're a ham radio dork, you know all that. We did a cheaper radio this time because mainly we're using it to communicate to other people on the trail and then racing. And so this one works really good for that. We modified it, so we're probably getting 90 or something watts out of it. But nice powerful radio there, just a mag mount that goes up on the roof.
Update on the seat covers that are in there. They have been holding up very, very well. Still look brand new. They've kind of conformed to the seats a little bit. I'll show you on the other side when we get over there, but
they look good. They're super comfy, and we're living in them effectively. So if they weren't comfy, they would have been pulled out of here immediately. These are actually from Goose. So these have been through Central and South America with us, and they fit perfectly on a 200 series. So this is just nice because as it gets hot, the last few nights have been pretty darn hot, and it's getting to where it's 90s during the day and like 78 at night. So it's kind of unbearable if you don't have airflow. So that's a little thing that's nice to have.
I'll put a link to that, and I think they sell them on Amazon.
Yeah, they sell different sizes. So the hardest part is figuring out what size for your truck, but usually down in the reviews, you'll find someone who mentions they have your model and what size they ordered. Our organizer right now for mapping is filled with bug spray, sunscreen, lights, all that kind of stuff. We've got our old Swiss water bag right here for water. Pretty simplistic setup. A couple Pelican cases make up the front part of the bed, as well as some bins, and
nice big comfy mattress.
Kind of does it here. Yeah, you can see the mag mount antenna is ready to go here. We've been pulling it off because we're going through and under so many trees. That's that. Around the back, we've also been working on this bumper. So you can see we have this lower tube right here. We built it like this to be the rear sort of lowest point. Now, in line, it's actually a little higher than the tire is, but because of the way you off-road and go off of things, this should be the last thing that you hit, or the first thing that you hit when you come off of something steep. You can still get to the recovery mounts nice and easily. So yeah, I'm really loving this simple sort of tube bumper slider setup. Yep, this is our old kitchen back here. I don't know if we had the drawers the last time.
No,
so,
I think we showed patrons when we were installing the drawers, but I don't think everyone else has seen the drawers.
Yeah, this is one of those I hate mud finds.
Last minute thing.
Somebody had one. We were heading out to go mapping. We had the Costco bins in here, if you remember. Literally, we're going to sleep on those, and that would have gotten pretty old, I have to be honest. This guy was selling this. He listed them for $1,000. We negotiated down to $800. He says, you know what though, don't pay me, take them, and then if you like them, in the next month or so, shoot me the money. Okay. So we're probably going to keep them, but I thought, that's nice because in case we want to put in a fancier sort of Trek box or
the height doesn't work the way we want it to.
The height doesn't work, whatever.
Yeah.
At least we know we have an out. That's great. On the drive home, we ran to Phoenix to get these. As we're running home, he says, you know what? 600's fine. Okay. So I just shot it to him right then. I figured, look, even if we don't want them, we'll just resell them. At that price, there was no risk. And so we've loaded them up, kitchen on the one side, and then we, of course, set this here so you can still access the kitchen. The other side's like more recovery gear, tools, spares, all that kind of stuff that I like. And then this side is actually a counter that pulls out. We just don't find ourselves using it. I don't usually, all the sort of deployable kitchens and all that. If you have a tailgate.
We have enough space on the tailgate, and then the stove actually goes into that drawer. So there's nothing hanging out.
Nope. Everything goes away, thankfully. We put our heads at this end generally, and so this is a big addition right here. If you have a 200 series,
oh yeah, this was amazing.
I will put a link below to order this. Just order it because this truck doesn't have any way to get out of the interior from the back at all. And so,
well, unless you go out the side doors, but
the rear, but from the back. So Cruiser Outfitters makes this. You specify your interior trim color, so you get the exact little handle in the right color that you need. And the button right here. And so this button simply works like this button does. They tied it to the two together so you can get out from the inside. So simple little kit. I think it's 150 bucks.
Yeah.
Which when I first saw it, I was like, 150 bucks.
Yeah, and then I think we did 1 week of camping and living out of this, and we realized, okay, let's go ahead and do that because it is really, like, there's always going to be nights where it's windy or wet or something, and you want to close it every once in a while, and then you're like, getting out is a pain.
Totally. It got old real quick. same little setup we were using all this time. I think we got this table somewhere in Europe, in like
think,
Slovenia or something.
was it Austria?
Maybe,
Yeah,
but some little
somewhere.
store there. And then our old little chairs, we have a link for that in the Amazon store, have been holding up well.
Yeah, those are awesome.
Coming around to this side, the fridge is working great as expected. It's bigger than the fridge was actually in Dusty.
Yeah.
So for us, it's plenty big, and it sits beneath the bed, as you can see. So comfort-wise, it's really nice to be able to keep it nice and low. I do wish somebody made sort of like a even more squat fridge that was longer and wider.
Yeah.
We have this little portable power pack. It's actually running the Starlink right now. And then we have the key on in the ignition because we have a 60 amp starting battery. So it's actually putting juice into it while the Starlink's taking it out.
Yeah. So we've had to kind of manage our batteries right now with this little power pack. But like Tim said, we have another kind of house battery and a setup that we'll share with you guys once that comes. We won't have to worry about it then. But we've just been managing charging that little power pack during the day, and then that runs the fridge at night. And now with the Starlink, it can run it for a couple hours.
And I would say that power pack and the starting battery, because it's lithium and it's 60 amp hours, so it's a giant for a starting battery amount of power, is sufficient, but just barely. And again, we do have higher power needs than an average traveler.
Yeah.
But we haven't been editing a lot because we've been so busy working. So I would say it's just enough.
Yep.
And so that's the reason we're actually getting 120 amp hour big old deep cycle lithium. And we're going to get a National Luna power pack to put it in. We're actually going to put it right next to the fridge. So we'll have all of our power right there and a whole lot more of it. In here, we've got a bunch of little things. So we've got, this is all from Solve Function, just a cell phone holder right here. So you can kind of, like a holster, you can get to it when you're driving. You can charge it as you're going along. This right here, so much stuff. This right here is just a little level gauge that, again, Solve Function that he makes that's fantastic. And we've had one in every truck, and I just love pulling into camp, looking down and going, yep, good enough, close enough, or hey, the bubble's a little bit to the back, so our heads will be a little higher in the air, no big deal. If it's the other way, the blood's rushing to your head, so you want to move the truck.
Oh, the other cool thing of Solve Function is out here. We'll have to show them.
Yeah, and then one last thing. Do you want to show them?
Sure. Oh, I'm used to holding the camera. They make the little valve caps, no loss valve caps, so you just pop them off.
Yeah, they got the two on the side. So if you grab it with your finger, actually, it's probably the quickest and easiest way to get them off. So you just kind of like lever it off.
But those are really, really nice and handy to have, and you can't lose them. So
yeah, and then we have some extras. So we had him make some extra sort of like Dirt Sunrise Edition yellow ones. So we're going to sort of announce on Instagram or somewhere that we're going to be, off running around and camping. And if you find us, we'll give you a set. So.
Yeah.
Anything else you can think of?
I can't think of anything else at the moment. So yeah, we're still doing, like you can see, we're in the midst of a few projects here and there, and also trying to get ready to head to Mexico, which we're excited about. So hopefully we'll get we want to film all the Starlink stuff because that's pretty neat, and let you guys know how that's working for us so far.
And we'll do a video. We've been filming some of these mods as we do them, but it's like, you have a couple days off, you work on the truck, you rush back to work. So we haven't filmed like a lot of these modifications fully.
Yeah.
But we'll do a specific bumper and sliders video, I think, because that people are really interested in.
Yep.
We'll do a video on our new power setup when we get it, which is just a couple days away.
Yep.
And sort of the installation of that. But the truck's been doing really well. Dobinson suspension is amazing. I just, up this road we were on, I was doing 60 miles an hour.
Yeah, it's really
and it just dances over everything, catching a little bit of air, and you just don't worry about this truck.
It's super comfortable to sleep in the back. I've been absolutely loving the bed setup. It's just, it's so comfortable. It's so much space
the bed's
for us.
2 inches less wide than a queen.
Yeah.
So it's a giant bed, really, because the 200 is a giant truck. So for us,
for
for us, it's a big bed. Compared to Goose, in the pop top, this is a really giant bed. Even compared to the Maltec, I'd say this is a bit bigger, which is weird to say. But it's not taller, of course, and there's no headroom.
Yeah.
But
I think
it's a nice
with
bed.
The hard sides, obviously in the Maltec down below, it had hard sides, but up above, that was the bigger, wider bed. But you had soft fabric, so you were always a little bit cautious. Like you couldn't lay your arm against it and like not worry about it. So
Ooh, last thing, and Kelsey installed this. 4Cam Engineering sent us, so on the back of SUVs, I think all of them, definitely Toyotas, because I remember my 4Runner used to do this too. There are little vents on either side. The more you off-road, you find that if you have the windows sort of incorrectly put down and you create suction, it will suck silt and dust in from the back
and you can usually start
and project
it
into the whole truck. And everything near those sort of corners there is covered in silt. So we had the same thing happening on this truck. He makes a better one-way valve. It's meant more for
has
a
a
truck that
filter,
lives in the
yeah.
dirt. It has a filter. It really blocks that dust from making it in.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry so much about, oh, geez, we're in the dust. It's starting to suck in. You know, roll the windows up and turn on the AC to make positive pressure in the truck. You don't have to worry about that as
Yeah.
much. So that is a mod that's
You can't
right
see very
behind
well.
here somewhere. But yeah, that one's hard to show.
Yeah, I'll show you the scratches real quick because
Yeah.
we got some work to do. I don't know if it's better in the sun or not, but
Yeah.
it's quite pinstriped. But
Yeah. So we've washed the truck a few times,
yep.
and then
we have not yet waxed it or buffed
we've waxed
it.
it since we've owned it a few times. But yeah, since we started the real mapping work and the real abuse to the truck, we haven't done that. The headlights look amazing.
They do. They turn out
So
really
I'm hoping if we can do a rubbing compound and then like a few cleaner wax type runs, get it just so it looks good. It's always going to be pinstripe, but I just want it to look good.
It looks good right now too.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Anyways, guys, let us know if you have questions. I'll try to put links for everything we mentioned below.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching.
And stay tuned for more travel videos.
Yes.
We're getting back to actual traveling.
Yes.
So we're heading into Mexico in less than a week.
Yep.
The Sonora Rally is going to be amazing. And then after that, some just fun time for us.
Yep.
Being in Mexico, our favorite place.
Yep.
So
thanks, guys.
See ya.